Hello. Happy Monday, everyone. Let's check out some patch notes. Hey, Khan, how's it going?
Hello. Yeah, very good, thank you.
Yeah, so
How are you?
I'm
How are you and how's everyone?
I'm good. I'm expecting some changes this week. We didn't get any for scribing, but I'm expecting we're gonna get some this week for sure.
Imagine getting changes.
Hey, Zygmunt. Hey, yo. All right. Well, let's dive right in.
Okay, so we didn't get anything last week, pretty much. And that was the week we were really expecting adjustments to scribing because there just haven't been any since they were released into the wild. Obviously they went through a lot of internal testing, but it was still a bit of a surprise. But I'm expecting some, yeah, as you said, some big stuff here. So, what do they say? Um, ESO version 10.03, 0.3 includes several adjustments to scribing, including reducing the length of the chase for scribing, particularly regarding the script chase for alts. I'm just going to say it right now, and again, if people are sort of filtering in as we go through, the word chase, that is because they don't want to use the word grind. All right, so if you're thinking this is a word they're using an awful lot, not one that we really use that I've heard before in this context. That's what they're doing. Chase sounds better. That sounds like something fun, whereas grind does not. So, but yeah, effectively, well, what they're trying to do. Anyway, combat and gameplay. The following sources of damage reduction are currently additive rather than multiplicative, allowing for damage taken to be reduced further than intended. CP, Elemental Aegis, Preparation, Armor Class. Okay, so they, yeah, gathered a few of those. I can't tell at first glance how impactful those are going to be, but I'm guessing not much. But all told, it might make a difference. But tank mitigation is frankly ridiculous in old content, and that then drives them to create ever more terrifyingly difficult bosses and encounters at the newer end of things, which means that tanks get more and more used to laying hold of every tool in the kit for reducing damage taken, which makes the older content more and more boring for tanks to do. So I don't think it's a virtuous circle, that. But yeah, that's not really relevant to today. Combating gameplay, Arcanist. Domain, fixed an issue where it could not be dispelled. Rune Prison, the Sorcerer. Could miss invisible targets, okay. Sword and Board Shield Wall. Fixed an issue where the shield discipline cost reduction to abilities did not work with some permutations of the shield throw grimoire. That's one of those bugs you would expect. Good that they've caught it. So this is obviously a new scribing ability, the one where you launch the shield. It kind of comes back like a boomerang. Mage's Guild, Equilibrium, increased the base duration of Major Resolve to 27 to 30 seconds. Now that Everlasting Magic has been adjusted, right. Okay. Should result in a 1 to 2 second increase when combined. Okay. Truncation issues. So help me out, my Mage's Guild scribing ability. Oh, that's the elemental. No, that's the. Which is the Mage's Guild skill line? Contingency, right? That's Mage's Guild. Like a pre-buff, and then something happens later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all right. Crafted sets. Varan's Legacy. Fixed an issue where this set didn't consistently proc with scribed skills. Okay. Maligalig. That was in last week's patch notes as well. Overland. Okay, that's the new set. Macabre Vintage. This is all about vampires and vineyards. Or at least part of the zone story is. Scribing. Here we go. General. Based on feedback received, we have reworked the class mastery script chase, so the grind, to significantly reduce the length for alts, so, secondary characters. Class script caps can now be individually consumed to advance the A Signature with Class achievement. And class script scraps will no longer drop for the account once it's completed the achievement. Yeah, so they are now account-wide, but it's weird. So, Maya, if you're class hopping and you get a necro, you're playing with your necro tank or your necro healer, and you get a class script scrap. So you get 3 that week for Necromancer. You get 6 in Infinite Archive where you're playing your Arcanist. You get 9 in total, and they're indistinguishable. They count towards your whole. So you can level. Like it's possible that you don't even have, say, a Templar on your account anywhere, and yet you unlock class mastery for the Templar without even having one, because they're all unlocked together. I'm really surprised by that. That is their instinct. I'm guessing it saves them a ton of work or something, because it's just completely illogical to me. I've got to say that is like, surely you reduce the number of script scraps that have to be gathered from, it was 50 before, and they were character bound. I could get some of these details wrong, but I don't think so. I've been on PTS. We've done loads of this stuff. There's been a lot about it on the forums recently. We've checked a lot of these things, and yet you had to collect 50 of these per character, and it wouldn't, like, say you do it on your main. Mine is a Nightblade, for example. My 2 other Nightblades, my tank and my Magblade, would still have to go and do it all over again. Like that was insane. That was definitely wrong. So the headline is they have changed it in a way which is good. This is great. However, they've changed it in a way which is sort of unexpected and a little bit confusing. I hope this is clear, because I'm aware that we're talking about a system which a lot of people haven't even touched because it's only on PTS. But yeah, you would get these little script scraps, and they would drop. I think occasionally there would be a guaranteed drop from a thing, but Master Writs had a chance to drop them. You could get them from trial end bosses and stuff like that, and it seemed like the kind of thing that you would get a few of every week. Given that you had to get 50 of them, we're talking several months maybe before you even got your first class mastery unlocked, and then you have to do it 19 more times. So yeah, much better. However, why not have 7 different ones? And you don't get any script scraps for, say, Arcanist, unless you're actually playing on that class. I don't know. To me, that just feels strange. What do you think, Maya? Do you know what I mean, or do you think I'm getting too hung up on this?
No, I get it. Do you think that's? I mean, they obviously made some changes based on some feedback last week. Well, this week, but Gina posted a article on the forum saying on Friday, okay, we are making some big changes. Wait for it. It's coming on Monday. So here we go.
Yeah, I know some people interpreted the way things were on PTS as by design. I didn't, not entirely. I thought some of it was just unfinished, and it was unintended, essentially. So I think some of this is just being made to work the way it was already intended to work. It just wasn't working that way on PTS,
Yeah, it's PTS.
Theory and implementation, they're very different things, and while they do course correct from things that are working as intended to make them work, differently, intentionally, sometimes it's just a matter of fixing something that didn't work as intended. I think some of this might be that. Maybe not the class mastery thing. I think that was just not thought out, because they don't have offices full of people who play the game on a daily basis. Much as we would love that to be the case. Anyway, when this achievement is completed, so there's one achievement to get class mastery, and then you can buy. Say you earn it on your Arcanist, you can then buy it on your Dragon Knight, Warden, Nightblade, whatever, without having to earn it on that class. I have a real bee in my bonnet about it, but I kind of fundamentally disagree. I think you should have to play your Nightblade to unlock it. Anyway, reduce the cost of the rotating stock of scripts. So these are the ones that show up a little bit like the golden, the jewelry in Cyrodiil and the Phyla in the Infinite Archive that you can buy rotating stuff from them. That was good. I think most people were into that, but it was pointed out that especially the Archival Fortunes cost was pretty high. Like it wasn't, because when a script shows up that week that is particularly handy, you might have 19 characters you want to buy it on. And even if, like me, you've got a healthy balance of Archival Fortunes saved up, you could blow it all in a single week very easily. Especially if, like me, people want to unlock all scripts and all, well, just all scripts and all grimoires on every character, all 20 characters or whatever. I definitely want to do that. It's not needed, but
Yeah.
so they're reduced both in the initial price and in the discounted price once you have knowledge of a script. So this is that thing that once one character has learned it, you don't get it. It doesn't immediately unlock, but you can buy it across other characters for a much lower price. Increase the drop rate of luminous ink from non-boss monsters.
Yeah, that was a
aware
big.
that this was a huge issue.
Yeah, that was a big
but
one as well. That was mentioned on Friday that they were gonna change
it's
that up.
not a thing that I tested. Did you do much of this, like looking for ink drops? I was looking for the script and the cost of buying things on secondary characters rather than this. But I have to say, I didn't notice a lot of ink dropping.
No, I didn't notice a lot of ink dropping, but I didn't go out testing it a ton. But yeah, I was thinking, hang on, shouldn't I be getting some inks here? So I'm glad to see that that's been changed.
Yeah. It seems like it's got to be a good thing, right? And Plentiful Harvest, that's the CP. Now also awards additional luminous ink. So if you're going around doing your surveys and you've got this one, it's going to help. You now only need to play through the second era of Scribing Quest to have full access to the scribing system and its rewards and alt characters. Now, this is tricky with the wording, but I thought that was already the case. So the second era of scribing is the introductory quest. It's a little bit like the Sigic thing where you go to the delve and you retrieve the Augur of the Obscure, and that kicks off the whole march across the continent, sealing up those rifts and everything. This is the equivalent of that. So you'd only have to do that initial step. But that was already the case. You now only need to play through the second era of Scribing Quest to have full access. So I'm guessing they have provided more access than was already there. But the wording is it's not clear enough for me to pass that one out. Sorry about that. Other characters can now purchase the scripts awarded from the Wing of the Indrik. If you already have these scripts unlocked in your character, you will no longer receive them from the Wing of the Indrik. I see. Yeah. This is to do with the sourcing of, because these were quest rewards, and they weren't purchasable. But if you banked them, you could purchase them. And Skinny Cheeks and a couple of other people were messing around with this and were slightly confused and amused by the results there. Like it definitely seemed unintended. Removed duplicate redundant text in some grimoire descriptions. Did some confusing error messages. Fixed issues. Blah 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 blah. Sorry, Gina, skipping through. Okay, so doesn't actually address, other than this line potentially. It doesn't address the main issue I suppose there were two main issues coming out of the first 3 weeks of testing. One was this class mastery, that you would have to do that. You'd have to unlock 50 script scraps per character, and even learning the Nightblade, for example, class mastery, you wouldn't unlock it account wide. You'd have to do it on every Nightblade and every Arcanist and every DK. So that was a concern, but the primary concern was that you would have to go around the world and do, unless you needed a script that happened to be dropping from these rotating stock. And remember, there are something like 50 of them, and only 6 available every week, 6 or 7. So you could potentially wait a long time, especially if there is a patch sometime in that 10 weeks, which there always is. And often rotating stocks, like pledges, get reset with patches. So yeah, I don't know about that, but that was the other main concern that people had. What if I want this particular thing on all of my tanks? I'm gonna have to grind in PvP, delve dailies, world boss dailies, undaunted dailies, all of this stuff. And it is a guaranteed drop once per day, but 20 undaunted dailies every day for 50 days. It's not 50, but you know what I mean. To get the number, to guarantee that you'd get them across the board, that's an incredible amount of work. And it was just too much. That hasn't really been addressed here, except that you can buy them, which you already could. It's just they've been made cheaper. We don't know how much cheaper. But yeah, honestly, it's tough. It's tough to call. They've obviously put a lot more thought into it. The hundreds of work hours that have gone into this. It would be stupid and arrogant of me to think I could come up with a better idea in the 20 minutes I've spent thinking about this. But it does seem like they should just be unlocked account wide, and you should be able to buy them. And maybe don't make them cheap. Then the rotating stock can be cheap-ish, maybe, but yeah. But then for people who are like, no, I need this in my prog group tonight. I've been told to switch from DK tank to Necro tank, and I've got to go and grind this out. This is a thing that people genuinely have to do. Or for PvP, they want to try this other character. You don't want to give them like 5 days worth of work in order to get the character ready to just go into Cyrodiil and have the build that they want to play work. So yeah, it doesn't feel like the issue's closed. However, we are only in week 4. There's no reason they can't change this stuff after it goes live. I know that they would rather avoid that because people will start to grind. And then, of course, if they make the chase, if they make that more forgiving a couple of weeks in, the people who've been, going through the whole caboodle aren't going to be best pleased about it. Anyway, moving on to some actual changes to the Grimoires. You ready, Maya?
Ready.
Elemental Explosion. So this is the Destro staff one that you can CC, you can send everyone flying, you can, you all know what you can do. We've all been either playing around with this ourselves or seeing people do it. Interaction with Dispel. Fix an issue where this did not remove AoEs inside of it if there wasn't also an enemy inside the impact area. Right. So you couldn't cast it on a negative effect. You'd have to cast it on an enemy, and then if there was a negative effect there, it would be removed. Okay, that makes sense. Fix an issue where this wouldn't dispel contingency's growing impact effect. So yeah, the way they interact with one another, that's the crazy thing. You don't just have to balance them for the existing skills in the game, you also have to, it's like a moving goalposts. They have to work with and against one another. Mender's Bond, that's the Resto one, the beam. Fixed an issue where this ability could feel clunky and did not weave properly with the combat animation. Well, if only they would do that to the Necro. Sorry, not Necro. The Vampirism beam, the exhilarating drain.
Well, that's probably next on the list.
Man, but I mean, if it's a similar issue, hopefully that's coming, because it's not a huge deal. You sort of get used to it, but routinely on tanks, when I'm using this drain ability, it appears to be going off, but my tank appears to be standing there doing nothing. And yeah, not great. Shield throw. Fixed an issue where the cost was not in line with other abilities. Updated the cost of immobilized knockback. Okay. So I don't know if that is going up or down. I'm guessing up. Fixed an issue where the knockback could desync the target's position. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Fixed an issue where shattering throw would utilize the target stats instead of your character's stats. Okay.
Oops.
So far these are not balance changes. These are fixes.
They're just little tweaks. Yeah, fixes even. Yeah.
With the odd exception. That's a slight balance change. Cost. Soul Burst. Fixed an issue where the cost was not in line with other abilities. Again, there we go. Updated the cost of the physical damage focus script to 3213. So this is unusual. Could be wrong, but I've looked at a lot of patch notes for this game, and I feel like there is always get one so far here. Yeah. See this? And so they've changed it to this rather than this. Again, change this to 30 seconds up from 25. That is the standard turn of phrase. That's the standard format that we're used to here. So the fact that we've updated the cost, it doesn't say, is it an increase or a decrease? I don't know. It's not even that easy to go in and check. Like, what was it before? Not a big deal, but trample. Fixed an issue that allowed trample to be used while on cooldown if you did not have an active mount. Interaction with the hunter's snare and thief's mobility scripts. Fixed an issue where the AoEs left by these combos could not be dispelled. Okay. Fixed an issue where the area created by the Warden class script could not be dispelled. Interesting. So the Warden class script is help me out, Maya. Does it apply brittle to everything in the area? No, it's not that, is it?
No, it's sort of a.
It's one of those ones that, on paper, it's quite strong.
It's kind of complex as well.
Yeah, it does a bunch of things. Vault. So this is the bow one. Interaction with thief swiftness. Sorry, reduce full damage.
It's the class master and the warden create an 8-meter area for 2 seconds under your target once every 8 seconds. That snares enemies by 70% and charms them for 3 seconds when it expires. If no enemies are charmed, you restore 1000 magicka and stamina.
I remember the debuff / sustain part of the equation, but yeah, thank you. Forgot about that. Reduce the full damage reduction bonus on this script to 15% down from 50. There we go. There's the terminology we want. So that is a huge change. So you can no longer carefreely ignore most falls in the game. Yeah. Makes sense. Fixed an issue where some fall damage reduction bonuses were additive with one another rather than multiplicative. A lot of this language cropping up. This will reduce their effectiveness when stacked together, so they operate like normal damage taken reductions and prevent you from reaching 100% mitigation. This is what a lot of people get wrong when learning about tanking and mitigation. They get excited at the prospect of reaching 100% mitigation. Now that obviously can't have that.
Yeah, Keld, exactly. It's an interesting one. And Dima, yes, Maya and Khan are doing pretty well. Yes, welcome to our patch notes session. Just going through the changes for week 4.
Yeah.
So this is sort of the first time that scribing is getting updates.
It is, on the one hand, it's really encouraging that what they're focusing on are these little tweaks and fixes, so that the system isn't buggy, you know. But also, I do know that there are people who are concerned with certain combos being a little too powerful for PvP, for example, and not seeing anything about those. So maybe this is mostly to do with the grind. Oh, sorry, the chase. And
The way you put that every time, sorry, the chase.
I don't know. I really like. I really locked in on Kira's use of that term. We want it to be a fulfilling chase, not a grind. And that gave me so much hope. You know, her description of that was a great sales pitch. Clever use of language to put me at ease. But you know, we've since seen that it's not a chase. It is quite the opposite. One thing does not lead to another. You just have to go and do X number of completely unrelated daily quests to just arbitrarily unlock 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 different things on that character. And no, that is not a fulfilling chase at all. You know, a chase is where, you know, like join the dots. You go from one dot to the next and you're progressing. Anyway, fix an issue whether some fall damage bonuses were additive. Yeah. There's reduced or reflected. Yeah, no, sorry. So we already talked about that. Fix some issues that could allow you to exit the playable game space with Vault and reduce the maximum height to prevent situations where the ability could be used to get to unintended locations.
I actually have been trying to play with that. It's it's quite funny.
Yeah, that's people like Luke, you know, getting to places where they shouldn't. And Maya, although did you manage? Did you find anywhere that you could do that?
Yeah, a little bit. Nothing major though, but yeah. Hey Span, hello.
I know they were really on the case with the Arcanist portal.
Hey, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate that. We're just going through some of the patch notes for the PTS. Just going through what the changes are. This week was a big one for scribing, so we're just seeing what's going on. But welcome in.
Is that a Spantifical?
Yes, it is. Looks like a big week. Yeah. Way!
Yeah. Well, we gather we have you to thank among lots of people, I guess. But thanks for being one of the few who was actually testing this stuff. You know, with regard to the grinding. Maya and I were definitely mucking around with it and making notes, but man, it's really difficult to draw any firm conclusions based on a sample size of like 3 people. So yeah, the ESO community talking amongst themselves is immensely valuable for stuff like this.
No problem. We love the science. We love to science. But yeah, welcome in, Raiders. I'm Maya, and that's Khan. I was really hoping for like a hello. No, seriously, come on.
Oh.
And we run Ninja Pools, Elder Scrolls Online community, teaching guild, and just as many resources as you guys want and / need. So welcome in, and oh hey
Lulu. Fix some issues that could allow you to exit the playable space. We covered that. Fix an issue where Fiery Vault, flame damage focus, was not properly counted as a weapon ability and therefore didn't interact with Redguard's martial training pass. Well, I'm glad they fixed that. That is a huge, huge deal. You know? All of us Redguard mains. Fix an issue where your character wouldn't animate properly while bashing or dodge rolling immediately after casting Vault. This Grimoire will now properly disable your ability to take other actions while you are moving. Okay, yeah. I mean, Vault is a weird one for me because it in PvE, it's just so like off the table for me, like anywhere.
Yeah, it's sort of a it's sort of a weird one.
When would I ever use that? You know.
And thanks,
But
man.
anyway, maybe when hey Maya, would it have been useful when kiting the statues in Sunspire? If you could interrupt them all and
Yeah,
vault
but
away
you know
at the same
exactly what would have happened, right? Hey, Gels, thank you
No.
so much for gifting us up. I would have vaulted off the platform like every single time.
No, of course. You never. Wheeled Soul, finally. Fixed an issue where the cost of Wheeled Soul was not in line with other abilities. Again, I can't blame Gina or whoever put the text together for this too much. I know Gina sort of edits the whole thing and compiles it, but it would be good to know, you know, what was it about it that was not in line. But anyway, minor stuff. Updated the cost of pull and stun focus scripts to 378. So yeah, this number's cropped up a couple of times. So I'm guessing that's just a standardization pass they're doing here. Class mastery. So Necro had a typo, which was fixed to improve the clarity of the maximum number of delicious corpses, kind of for the buff. Gross, Gina. Nightblade class mastery. This is like the rubbishest. As a Nightblade main, I'm sorry, this is like the worst class mastery. I think. Increase the duration of the critical chance bonus to 5 seconds, up from 2, and increase the amount of mag and stam restored. Okay, well, yeah, well, there we go. It's now better. So I guess someone has also agreed with me that that was a little bit limp dick. Sorry, is that too?
That's kind of hey Razor, hey
That's
Red
too
Fox.
inappropriate. The stream, Maya. Right. I should say it with an Australian accent, shouldn't I? 2 seconds is a little bit soft cock. That's what our buddy used to say. Anyway, Sork updated the targeting on the following grimoire to allow the effect. This is the one that heals. Allow the effect to enemies near your target instead of near your character.
A limp
Better support all
performance
player types.
indeed. Yes, Chester. Hello.
That was a limp performance, Turley. Anyway.
Oh.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
It was a
so
horrible
all
Aussie accent. Wow. Thanks, Lulu.
Yeah, thanks.
The last part
To be
sounded
fair,
almost Scottish.
No, that is exactly how the guy. He's from Adelaide, so not the Aussie accent you'd hear on Neighbours. But that is exactly how our buddy Nick used to speak. I lived with him for a long time. I've got my headphones on. Maybe I fucked it up, but you know, normally my my Nick impression is on point. Anyway, Templar.
No, they didn't destroy the Nightblade again. That's it's right. That was your point, Khan.
No, they buffed it.
Yep.
I mean, the class mastery things, I'm not super excited about. It is another level of utility that we can like lay our hands on most of the time. Don't quote me on it, because you know you can always find things that are that once enough people get their hands on them, there'll be like this emergent thing that you couldn't necessarily call in your head just from looking at it. That always happens. That's what the meta is ultimately. It's a bunch of things being filtered through thousands and thousands of people using them and sharing tips and findings and whatever else. But yeah, none of them are going to be like transformatively, you know, you want to play Nightblade because of the class mastery. No, that's not the idea, and it's not going to be the result. Templar class mastery. Rework this script to grant new effects. Here we go, replacing its old functionality in favor of more generally applicable bonus with no drawbacks. So this was the snare and ungodly amount of armor. Like, it just never made sense to me, this one. It felt like it had to be a typo almost.
Hey, Webby.
Remember this, Maya?
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense. Updated the bonus to provide 1320 armor and 150 spell damage, or weapon and spell damage for 5 seconds. If Sacred Ground is active on you, these values are increased 50%. So 2.6k armor and 300 weapon and spell damage. The weapon and spell damage, actually both of those are pretty nice. Do you want to remind us the sacred ground. I think that's just when you're inside one of your AoEs, right? The Templar passive. Anyway, signature scripts. Anchorite's cruelty. Oh my god, there's a lot. Let's go a little bit faster. Anchorite's cruelty and Anchorite's potency. So, with the Soulburst Grimoire, they've updated it to deal 2.8% of the target's maximum health every 2 seconds over 10 seconds. Up to a max of 2.8 tick. Increase the cooldown to 10 seconds. Known issue. Does less damage than previously. It does not correctly apply the dot aspect. This will be resolved. Okay. Anchorite's cruelty is supposed to deal 1.5% of their maximum health every second over 5 seconds, up to a maximum of 1500 damage per tick. So yeah, they've been nerfed a little bit. Okay, so now we're getting into some of the balance stuff. The signature script side of things.
Yeah, so Templar needed more damage instead of that ton of armor.
Well, there are a few cool interactions that you could have with all that armor, like Tremor Scale, for instance. Things that scale to max resistances. There are a few. And we were lucky enough that when we went over this, Hyper happened to be in the channel right there with us. It was that evening we were all banned from ESO because Maya got a group together to go on PTS and do Lucent Citadel. Hyper and Lucht were both there, and our tank backed out, so I was going to have to off tank with the man himself, and yeah, it's sort of fun, a fun little thing to be doing, because my tanking just. That's not a thing that would ever happen under normal
But it would
circumstances.
have potentially been
put it
world's
that way.
first complete as well, but instead we got banned.
Instead, we all got banned, and we just sulked back onto the live server and farmed bosses in Vardenfell for those damn style pages, which we now know we could have just avoided because we were all banned for 2 weeks and given them anyway. Anyway, the point was we were going over we just learned what the Templar thing actually was and how it worked, and he was sort of thinking out loud about all the sets that. But yeah, I agree. I thought that was a pretty silly, like, too strong in niche situations and too useless in sort of a generic situation. We've received feedback there were limited opportunities for counterplay with the current implementation of Anchorite's cruelty, and the consumption rate of soul gems was too high.
Your OP was too OP, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've made an adjustment to improve both these areas and keep the scripts in parity. So yeah, that's why the cooldown has been increased and the effect has been reduced, because there's that one where you could, this one here. That was the one that interested me, where you could consume a soul gem that was in your inventory by casting these abilities with that signature script and gain ult. So now it's 3 ult once every 5 seconds. Lingering Torment and Sage's Remedy. Good luck to those of you on remembering exactly what these were. It would be handy if PTS was up and Maya could just be standing there with like a split screen, just to remind us what the fuck these are, because they're well named and everything, but they are not. They're sort of generic, MMO ability language.
Yeah, you didn't immediately get an. Oh, that's that one, obviously. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that Anchorite had anything to do with soul gems. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't until I saw this I was like, hang on a minute, I remember what that is now. Anyway, all AoE Grimoires now apply Lingering Torment for 20 seconds to match their affixes, which are minor buffs and debuffs. Elemental Explosion, Lingering Torment. This signature script now lasts for 20 seconds, ticks every 2, rather than lasting for 5 and ticking once every second. Decrease the damage per tick by about 12%. So more total, but less burst. Smash. That's the 2H. Lingering Torment on that one. Now lasts for 20 seconds, so very similar. Exactly the same, in fact. Those are the same notes. And again here, almost. Sage's Remedy increased the signature healing.
Hey, thanks for the follow.
Doubled the healing. Unfortunately, again, I don't have that in my head as to how limp or or how like reasonable that was. I'm guessing it was bad if they're doubling it, but whatever. Given that it's a melee ability, I don't know. Traveling Knife, Lingering Torment. So same again, increase the damage per tick by about 9%. Soul Burst. This is when you apply the dot, basically, if anyone was in any doubt. And yeah, we're seeing a bit of a trend here, right? They've made it last 20 seconds. So it's not something you can spam for all. That's the behavior that they're seeing, right? I'm sure. PvP testing, or maybe PvE, people just spamming this and getting too much out of it. So they've made it a little bit like dots in update 35. You know, they've spread them out a bit. So the power is going up, more total damage, but you know, significantly less moment to moment.
We just have a request. Can we ask Khan to use his Necro voice in all of his videos from now on? Just a quick reminder.
Welcome, summoners of the welcome, summoners of the.
What's amazing is I'm actually playing it, and that sounded pretty much exactly the same. That's kind of funny. Any
I thought I'd have to put like a monster filter on that and everything. No, you just put a bit of reverb on it and it works fine. Done. Took like 3 minutes to do that. Anyway, where was I? Ulfsild's contingency. Yeah, same thing. We can skip all this. All single target grimoires will now apply Lingering Torment and Sage's Remedy for 10 seconds to match their affixes, which are okay. So these are the AoEs. All area of effect grimoires will now apply Lingering Torment for 20 seconds. All single target will now apply both these for 10 seconds. This makes sense. Okay. Damage per tick increased by 36%. So it's sort of the opposite way round, right? And same again. Developer comment. We had received feedback that the dot signature scripts Lingering Torment were generally not feeling impactful enough. We have made a wider change to better match these with their affix length as well. Affix, by the way, is the last thing that you apply. The least exciting bit, generally. That's the one that gives you a buff or a debuff, or applies... it gives you a buff or applies a debuff to the enemy, essentially. As well as adjusted the total damage. We have also increased the output of Sage's Remedy, healing over time, signature script to remain in parity. Well, fine. Updated the affix length on minor affixes for AoE grimoires to be 20 seconds. Okay. Yeah, so there's less of like a conflict between, this part of the skill lasts 20 seconds, this part of it lasts 8. It's always a little bit awkward, right? Like when Powerful Assault. That's right, Maya, that when it only lasted 10 seconds or something?
Yeah, it's just when like a buff and duration, and then another part they're different times.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
it's
that's
not bad design, but it just doesn't feel good. You know, it feels sort of clunky and weird, and it means that your in-game skill timer or your add-on that does that for you, half the time they don't know what you're interested in. Which timer are they supposed to display? Which effect are they supposed to track? So, yeah, it's tidier where possible. Quests. Second era of scribing. So a reminder, this is the equivalent of picking up the Augur of the Obscure from that delve, you know? I shouldn't be comparing it to Psijic, but I can't help it. Fix an issue where alternative quest grants for the scribing tutorial was showing up for characters with no champion points and below level 30. Alright, so unintended. Fix an issue where if grouped, Nalia, I think it's Nalia, not Nalia, Nalia, wouldn't always follow you through the initial run-up area. Okay. Quest markers, stop casting when talking to her. The tutorial for completing a scribe skill wouldn't appear. Okay. Wing of the Indrik. Killing Del bosses will now properly share amongst your group. Sounds important. Fix some issues with player pins. Wing of the Netch. Updated a number of quests that says... after you complete the Griffin and the Fox are no longer go missing, but rather are still in their wing. Okay, so buggy stuff. UI. And so you can link skills in chat. That's cool. Updated the armory text to call out how loading armory builds will not change how a scribed skill is configured. Because we discovered this finally on stream. I don't want to put him on blast for this, but I think I spoke to Rich Lambert himself at Amsterdam, and I spoke to a couple of people on the dev team saying, "Can we?" I'm not the only one. I think everyone probably asked them this. Can we use the armory system to flip back and forth between two configurations of a scribed ability? And the answer I got from Rich, I think, again, I don't want to put him on blast for this. You may not have said it. A lot of things happen in those few days, but yeah, I think he said, I think so, but I'm not sure. But everyone expected it to be possible. It is not. So if you use the armory system and you save a loadout with a particular soul burst configuration on it, and then you go and change it at the scribing altar, and then save another loadout with a different version of soul burst, you cannot flip back between the two, or at least you couldn't last week when I tried it. This seems to confirm that. Updated the armory text to call out how loading armory builds will not change how a scribing skill is configured. Sorry for those of you who already knew this, it's kind of old news, but it's kind of important, so I thought I'd just highlight it. Companions, we probably don't need to know about.
I actually thought it
Companion
fixed a
for
murder or like murdered. I was like, what? Murdered companions?
Bastion would not properly respond in a Mages Guild in certain cities. Hey, Bastion, where are we? I don't know. Miri is now more likely to use her other line when you're in a protracted duel with another player. Fixed an issue where several companions would not properly identify cities. Hey, Bastion, where are we? I don't know. Okay, so yeah, we are getting more stuff to the trial. Okay, yeah, those guys were apparently gap closing. I didn't even notice that. Correct number of treasure chests are now present. Visual improvements. I'm not even sure. Area of radiant prisms. Entirely sure what that is, but I guess it's the crystals, right?
I was going to say, pretty sure, yeah.
Visual issues throughout the trial. Yeah, Mirror of Opposition will now block all restore effects through it. So there are some issues with this. So this is the first boss where you know the room is like bisected. Mirror of Opposition is the technical name for it. It looks like a smoked glass wall, basically. And obviously, they don't want two groups to be able to buff one another through the wall, through the mirror. But if you brought one Templar, you want to be able to get minus sorcery for the group. So there's a question of like what is blocked and what isn't. So yeah, no answers here, but clearly there are certain things they want to block, but perhaps not others. Can't realize Anzilia set. I love when they do this, when their spellings are so exotic that Gina or whoever wrote this can't even be consistent from one line to another. This, for the record, is the correct one. I sympathize enormously, but yeah.
This random invented word.
Yeah. You gotta get it right when they're right next to each other like this. Will now always cast their annihilation ability as intended. Improve the sound effects for Realize. The Shattered Shard. This is the second boss. Yeah, there will now always be the correct settings when engaging. I feel like we did notice that, right, Maya? Volley will now only deal damage when the Viz effects are present. Magic damage rather than fire damage. Visuals for the mace are now always... I don't even know what that is. I guess that's his slam move. Arcane Knot, so last boss. Okay, corpses no longer persist. Hard node changes. Reduce the duration of the knot and the fracture. Okay, interesting. We're now deal increased damage to targets already affected by Arcane Fracture, so do not stand in the AoE, basically. Fluctuating current will now do increased damage to target. Okay, so that's becoming even more difficult. I mean, we didn't find it difficult at all. That is the lightning AoE, which moves around, I guess. Increase the damage of glass eyes, which is now a hard mode only ability. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Increase the damage. Yeah. Crystals. Necromancers in this encounter will no longer have a chance to run away from the fight. I know I think maybe they wanted to affect our ability to stack them. So they changed something, and then that resulted in weird behavior from the necromancers just running away. No, it's Papa Jester. Get me out of here. Necrotic Barrage. What a lovely, lovely name. Will no longer dispel player abilities. Increase the radius. Crystals no longer have a chance to persist. Dead player character. Okay, yeah. Well, that's nice. Like if you die well behind the group, what do? Does everyone just run away and leave you there, or what? Okay, so we're getting towards the end. Let's just whiz through these. Locations of books, environment fixtures. Yep, there's always a lot of stuff like this. Fix an issue with the Qua, the light playing with fire too much. You would no longer attempt to run through a cooking fire. Aww. That would have distressed Maya had she seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an issue with the Sky Shard and Fort Colovia wouldn't display on the map. Okay. Completing any scribing quests that reward 3 luminous ink now correctly increments the ink acquirer.
Correctly ink.
Yeah. Now correctly increments the ink acquirer, ink accumulator, and ink amasser achievements for realies this time. Goodness me, that is a mouthful. I challenge you all to say that very fast.
Completing any
Go for it,
scribing
Maya.
quest that reward 3 luminous ink now correctly increments the ink acquire, ink accumulator, and ink amasser achievement for release this time. And no.
Miramore Mosaic? So these are dolmens. The Miramore incursions are the events themselves. The mosaics are the locations at which they happen. We'll now award blue quality or better overland item set jewelry level 30 or higher. So yeah, like dolmens, you don't get green jewelry from dolmens, do you? It's blue and up, I think. Fix an issue with the Skingrad reward coffers where they were unintentionally dropping Necrom furnishings. Okay.
Yeah.
Tales of Tribute icon.
Meh.
Okay, way shrines, icons. Guild traders not displaying guild tabards. I mean, I just want to call out whoever discovered this bug. What a legend.
Yeah.
You have to think to yourself, I'm just going to test the guild trader system. I suppose they did make a change last week, so maybe people wanted to have a look at that and just verify
it's
or get some footage of it. But then they noticed that, hang on, my guild tabard isn't on there. I should change this. So yeah, there are loads of these things which you think somebody had to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And then notice it and report it. Anyway, Miramore incursions. So these are the world events. Reduce the number of AoEs, produced by the conflagration ability, and the visual effects will no longer persist longer than intended. Miramore rifts now always appear when intended. Loot dropped will now always spawn in the center. Okay, yeah, because the spawning, I think, where the enemy dies. I don't think they were particularly easy to miss, but like if you were off kiting something else, you might struggle to see where the
it's a deep
where the drop was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's super deep, right?
Quest
alien altercations. You can now enter with the rest.
Every time you say alien, I sort of, I think alien, and I think to Fallout 76. This is fucking aliens invade. Sorry, completely different game. Completely, yeah, it doesn't matter. Just
Narcissus.
Super
I guess
weird.
there's Narcissus Dren, not the town.
Yeah.
The town of Narcissus shows up. Hold the line. Memory of. Yep. Ithelia's Fury. Spoiler alert. King Nantharian's Gambit. Actually, some of these quest titles are a little bit spoilery for people like me who've had a look at the story structure, let's say. Not so much detail. Alright. Opponents could play twice. Zeal of Zenithar. There is now a proper portal to Belkarth at the Skingrad Impresario tent. So they decorated Tamriel for the Zeal of Zenithar and for the Midia Mayhem, Whitestrakes Mayhem, I should say, much more extensively.
Holy cow!
It's actually-
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of thing that nobody should get excited about or interested in. But actually, it is quite fun to go to a town where you do your writs all the time and say, hang on, something's happening. Like going home to where you grew up for Christmas, you notice the town is all decorated. There's a little bit of that effect. So I think that's a cool little detail. It's something they've done it. Curse you character limits. Yeah, alright, so character select and the announcements panel for Zeal of Zenithar now call out guildmate activity.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of little things like the whole guild. We know that there are some big updates coming next year.
Oh, do you want to repeat that? I think it's probably just Discord, but you cut out for me almost as soon as you started talking. Just in case, do you want to go again?
Sure. I'm sure it's just Discord. I was just saying we are seeing little hints about sort of what's coming. I mean, they already said the new house that we just got a couple of days ago. There is a little hint at something awesome coming. We're assuming it's for the housing update Q3. Talking about guilds and just the whole system. We know there is something big coming for guilds in 2025, early 2025. So it's like
something. Not necessarily something big, but definitely they drew attention to.
Aheld, hey, yeah, there's a massive, super exciting, big update coming in Q3. We don't know anything about it. If you hear anyone say, "Oh, there is a leak," it's this. It's not. There is no leak. This is not a thing. But the new house that we just got for free, they did say that there was something in there that hints at something to come, kind of thing. They didn't say it's not necessarily the housing thing, but I mean, it's a new house, so yeah.
We explored every nook and cranny of that house for
find
about an
some
hour
stuff
on stream. All we could come up with was that there is a sort of in the underground section of the house. Everyone should have it by now. If you don't, then shame on you. You haven't been logging in the last.
Thank you for the follow.
Still plenty of time to get it throughout May. It's literally the 3rd login reward this month, so you have so much time. Just log in the next couple of days, you'll get it. Anyway, it's very, very large, very cool house. And in the underground section, like a big part of it is this underground cave full of crystals. There is an area where you can spectate on this cave area. You can't access, but you can look out through a sort of a grate, a window with like a grate on it.
You can look, you just can't touch.
Yeah, exactly. And random little scenes play out between various Hammerfell wildlife in there. Like thunderbugs come out of the sand and eat a lizard. A bunch of lizards spawn in and then freak out and scurry off in all directions. What else do we get? A huge dune ripper comes up through the sand.
All sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, jackals are in there howling and stuff. So we think, I mean, we don't think, it's a total guess, but there was nothing else particularly unusual about the house that we could put our finger on. So maybe the option of including wildlife in the house, more things to bring it to life, or an enhanced pathing and animation system for
this is the map.
For pets, mounts, and guests and stuff like that. That's a meaningful addition. It doesn't seem. I don't think that'll be the even if we're 100% right, which let's face it is super unlikely. Even if we are, it's unlikely that will be the whole story, because Rich said we have a really, 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 really cool thing coming for housing, and that doesn't really fit the bill. There'd have to be a larger update than that. But anyway, if anyone likes the rumor mill, that's all we've got. But it is just that. Do not get your hopes up for anything like that. Or don't get disappointed because that sounds crap. We have no idea. We just looked around the house for a long time.
House to Ducken. But yeah, this is sort of the map, so you can see there's some sort of guild recruitment event, whatever that means, but probably advertising guilds. Tamriel through time web experience. Who knows? Oh yeah, social stream web Tamriel through time. Ah, okay. And yeah, obviously lots of events. And update 43 housing system. Update 44 PvP system. And all we know about the PvP system is it's not Cyrodiil related. And it's exciting rather than really, really exciting. Anyway, back to patch notes.
Well, pretty much done. Gold Road Prologue Quest. Yeah, I think I encountered this bug. Actually, an issue that could cause Laramil to be unavailable if you entered Athelia's prison again instead of her. You can now reach a portal to Grahtwood at the end, though you may not see Laramil create it. Here we go. This... Again, I don't know this for sure, but I think this has been causing problems for some people. I've been getting load screens that would last an instant. You know, like when you go through a door in a trial and you get a brief fade out and fade in. I've been getting like 4 second, 8 second, 10-second loading screens sometimes. It's very annoying, especially if you're in a prog route that's going fast and, you know, everyone's pre-buffing. You're running through the door and the boss is already aggroed and your opening damage is terrible. That's been happening to me, and one of the guys in my group said, well, this fixed it. Deleting guild history. And yeah, he sent me some details about it. Haven't done it yet because the file path that he specified didn't exist for me. So I guess different add-ons, but either way, whether it's related to my issue or not, some people clearly have been having issues with this. Because, you know, they updated the whole guild history system, and it did not go super smoothly. It's not entirely clear who's to blame, but it doesn't seem like the makers of the add-ons were responsible.
Anyway, I'm logging into the game as well.
They either didn't talk to each other properly or it just didn't work properly. But yeah, so there we go. There is a there's a lot there. There are a lot of meaningful little tweaks, not a huge number of balance changes, mostly to the dot side of things. Just to remind you guys.
Okay, I'll pop it back out.
So some changes to class mastery. No, I'm just doing it verbally. And then the Anchorite's signature stuff. And Lingering Torment. Lingering Torment is Remedy. They're like opposite sides of the same coin. Anchorite's Cruelty and Anchorite's Potency, same again. And that's pretty much it. Those are like the main things, and then the reduction of the...
So it's not much changes to the actual scribing system itself, just a few tweaks, other than the chase.
Yeah, the chase has become more forgiving. I still think there's some more work to be done there, based on what I see here, and based on my understanding of it, which is, of course, incomplete and subject to error.
Now you've got a quick question. A new player question: can tank specs do solo content like the Endless Archive and Arenas? Full tank spec? Not really. You'd be there for a very, very long time, because a proper solo spec is... tank... Let me rephrase that. Proper tank setup is not supposed to really do any damage. You know, just a bit. So yeah, you'd be there for a very, very long time. So if you do want to do things like Endless Archive and Arenas, you would need to change your setup to include some damage.
Infinite Archive is a weird example, because actually, once you get to the higher arcs, like arcs
Being
5,
tank
6,
is really
7,
good,
and up, then you want to be a tank, and you'll just let all the visions do all the damage for you, pretty much. But no, in order to get through the first couple of arcs, oh my god, being on a tank would be tedious. It's all about outvaluing the enemy. So if you've made a tank, either use the armory system to which is free, by the way. The only thing that's not free about that is if you buy the Armory Assistant, which you can't use in the archive anyway. But yeah, the furnishing is free, I believe. So use that to create and save, and then switch between a setup with a bit more damage. You don't need a ton of damage.
All right. Can you guys point me the sources? Oh, for builds for the Necromancer, I studied. Well, let me just. So here's a link to our YouTube. There is a phenomenal guide for a Necromancer. It's not a solo build, but it's all how the Necromancer works. And sorry, I linked. I'm gonna link the YouTube now, and also our Discord, because that's where you can ask any questions, reach out to anyone. There's lots of very knowledgeable people on our Discord. So yeah.
I would, unless you are determined to remain a very casual player, by which I mean you're never going to get particularly into the combat system, you're never going to try to get high damage, you'll just okay damage will always be fine, you'll mostly stick to normal content, things like that. Unless that is how you fully intend to play this game, which is totally fine, normal content exists for exactly that reason, I would strongly suggest you steer clear of build guides, web, whether they're on YouTube or a website or anywhere else, that give you one setup for everything.
I just realized the question is literally on YouTube, so you're in the right place to find the videos already.
Yeah, you see a lot of this, or I see a lot of it, and it just makes me want to tear my hair out. It's a lie. The idea that one build for everything. You can get close, you actually can, but you are sacrificing effectiveness left and right by having a thing. Like imagine a vehicle which works on a cycle path and in a supermarket and on the motorway. Like it's just, that would be a piece of shit vehicle in all three of those situations, even if you could somehow make it work for all three. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
Right, talking about, couldn't find solo builds. We don't have like solo builds, but there is a lot of stuff you can do, but just tweaking the group build. So I would definitely suggest joining the Discord, and I just posted a link, and just tagging Khan, asking that question there.
Yeah, and the reason I don't put solo builds out there is because the vast majority of quote-unquote solo builds that people want are for doing, are for going through zones and doing quests and story, and you just don't need a build of any kind for this. The base game is extremely, like, who looked up, you don't fire up Skyrim, turn the difficulty down to easy, and then go looking for a build. You just get in there and hit stuff. The game is extremely forgiving in Overland and in normal group content, actually.
The patch notes literally just dropped. We've just went through them. Yeah.
Yeah. None of us realized this when we start. I certainly didn't. I had no idea how easy the Overland stuff was because I hadn't optimized my setups even a little bit. I was playing with a sword and shield for a long time as a DPS, and I not until I really looked into the tooltips and how everything slotted together did it become clear that's not the best idea. You can make it work and you can have fun with it, but if you want to go into dungeons and be an effective part of the team.
There is. I'm just going to put it really bluntly. There is a lot of crap information out there. There are a lot of content creators who simply don't care. They just want clicks, so they go, "Hey, with this one button, you will defeat everything in Tamriel," and then people are really confused when it doesn't work. No, that's just the content creator making crap. So what Khan does, he tests for hours and hours and hours. So everything he puts out there has been thoroughly tested. If he's not sure about something, he won't put it out there. So it's that simple. And this is the video the Necromancer video he just posted. It's incredibly thorough. So yeah, it's if you haven't seen it,
not a build video.
No,
there are builds in it. There are setups in it that I talk about, but it is not use this build. It's like there are like 6 different builds in it, and none of them are really mine. They're just setups that anyone would use who knows the game. It's more to do with understanding
how the class works.
What happens when I press this button? Yeah, what does this passive do? and why is an Inferno not a good idea rather than a bow, for example, or what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maya's right. She's being a little bit harsh, but frankly, the people who say this build, one build for everything,
That's just a lie.
it's a
I'm
lie.
sorry, it's a lie. Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad because it's very easy if you're just starting in the game. Why wouldn't you believe that? You know, but yeah, it's not quite how that works. But yeah, hey, Ninja Pulse, we want to help as long as people ask questions or just say, hey, I would like some help, please. We'll help, and we do trial runs, anything from. We try and do as normals as well as vet, hard modes, and whatever's after that. So yeah, we do a little bit of everything. New trial obviously coming out in just under a month, so we're gonna have tons of runs there. PC, EU, and NA. And as long as people just don't join in for a carry, if you just want to learn and figure out how things work, we're here to help. So yeah.
Yeah, shockingly, the gameplay is the fun bit. And there is a little bit of learning. Like, Maya and I ran into this just yesterday, last night. May the 4th was a couple of days ago. And Star Wars Squadrons, the sort of the update to the 90s games TIE Fighter and X-Wing, is now like £1.74 or something. I'm talking UK money, sorry. That's like just over $2 or whatever.
Man, I get so frustrated
either
with
way,
it.
Either way, it's super fucking cheap. But man, it takes you a hot minute to figure out how to fly the damn TIE Fighter, and it took me like 10 minutes. Took Maya maybe 15, but the difference
I did not like it. I was getting frustrated.
5 minutes in, yeah, we were both like crashing into Star Destroyers and not able to do. But you do get there, and it's just we were sort of laughing about it and reflecting on, how nice would it be to be a game developer, to be able to say, oh, we can skip all this tedious bit where the player has to learn and we have to teach them how to play the game. It's most games that are really fun do have this, unless they're very fortunate or very clever and they're designed along exactly the same lines, so they work exactly like this other game that everyone has played before, and then you can just pick it up and get going. But yeah, there's a lot of that in here, so don't let it put you off. It is part of it, and it makes it more fun later on. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Matteo sounds like an awesome attitude. That's exactly what, I like to do. Like, I don't want to be a burden, so I want to try and figure it out. I want to start, at the start and just, work my way up. So that sounds awesome. Listen, I think everyone I know that plays fell down the heavy attack Sorg builds. We've had so many people come to our guild and they're like, oh, hey, Eggbirds. And they're like, oh, I wish I'd never picked it up, because like when I started the game, it seemed so simple and so easy, but now I'm so used to it. And it's not like you can't do stuff. There are, again, videos of people getting trifectas and everything, so you can get it done, but that's not how a majority of the game is designed to be played. So it's, you can do a lot more with a 2-bar build. But yeah.
It's tough, isn't it? Because you then get people...
one last thing I was just going to say, Zombie Jesus, brilliant name. Any necro changes, that link I just posted, that's the necro video, and it's updated for the next patch. It's got the changes from PTS in there as well. So not huge. Well, there is exactly what you're saying. There is a buff.
Unless they throw in some terrifying change at the last.
Yeah, Pauline, if you do everything with your... I mean, when you say everything, do you do, all the trial hard modes and, going for scores? That's sort of what I'm... It's when you get to a prog group where you need to... Thanks for the follow! Where you... Sorry, the meows are muted, I'm afraid. Sorry, Khan. There we go.
Yeah, I was super
so
disappointed.
Sorry. It's when group comp comes into it. So you're doing score pushing in trials and all of those trifectas, everything. It's, I guess if everyone in the group is down to do that, OakenSoul 1-bar build, then that's fine. But most groups, if they want to really push, they will not go for OakenSoul 1-bar builds because they're simply not as strong as what you get with 2-bar builds. So if the group wants to go for the best they can possibly be, that's not the way to go.
OpenSol is like a picnic basket where you've got everything. You got your bread, you got your cheese, you got your ham, you got your beer, you got your wine, you got everything in small amounts in one thing. A really good picnic doesn't work like that. You don't have 20 people bringing their own little basket and having a small amount of everything. No, you have one guy who brings an amazing salad, one dude who brings some bread, and it's a terrible analogy, but that is how group content works. Of course, you can do it the other way, but I could come up with 20 different analogies, all of which are comically stupid, but which have a point that there are group-wide buffs in this game for a reason. They allow you to stack power, and coordinated groups and organized players and people who have really worked out the comp. That is why the power gap is so enormous from a group of 12 good players who are just having a laugh on a Friday night and go into a Rockgrove hard modes, and a group of score pushers, it'll take them 3 times as long to clear the boss as the score push guys, because that is how it works. The concentration of group power that you get, it's very hard for ZOS to fight against, because ultimately it's by design. They designed the system to work this way, but it does mean that the people who are good at using it, I don't want to say exploiting it, but you know what I mean, people are taking advantage of the power that is made available to them, will succeed far more. And OpenSol is the opposite. It is great if you're by yourself, but what it really does for you in trials is give you one button to press and make you very difficult to kill. So I don't oppose it as a thing. I had major issues with its first incarnation, but when they changed it to be a more accessibility option, I had much more ambiguous feelings about it. But the fact that people were pushing, everyone got an Immortal Redeemer in those 6 months after they put in power on the OpenSol ring. Remember that, Maya?
Yeah.
Everyone who had no shame and just dug up the mythic suddenly had an Immortal Redeemer, which previously had been not particularly difficult, but not exactly a widespread trifecta. And it is a great way to get people into the game. The problem is there's that trade-off that people get used to it and then expect to be able to do everything with it. And I didn't actually see Pauline's response. Yeah, but I guess when you said yes, everything, you mean that you do everything that you do with that one build, but you don't do everything that is available in the game.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was driving at, because ultimately, as long as 12 people are on the same page, it doesn't really matter what that page is, as long as everybody's happy. If you want to go for the top score in the, absolute top score, practice 10 hours a day, whatever it might be, as long as everybody's on that page, then that's cool. And if 12 people are like, you know what, I just want to have some fun, I can't be bothered farming for this and that, I just want to have everyone to just have that sort of straight up simple build that's going to keep them alive and just get it done, then that's also
if you're
fine.
In that group,
that's all good.
If
no
you're
problem
in that
there.
group, the one guy who's sweating the DPS is going to be a pain in the ass. The one guy who's trying to optimize all the time, they're just going to be annoying.
Yeah, Lightan, I just find it boring, to be honest. People refuse to engage with the game mechanics at the top level. People need to be able to bar swap. Yeah, well, Pauline says, I do all VED hard modes, all trifectas, all speedruns, except top score. Well, then if that's the whole group, that's...
You have all the trifectas in the game. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit blunt. You have all the trifectas in the game. Please verify. And honestly, just to preempt, even if the answer is yes, that is not typical. Like you would, as Maya says, you would need to find a group that is willing to work that way.
Well, Pauline says not yet, so yeah.
So no.
So no.
I don't know many trifecta groups that would even accept somebody using OpenSol. Not necessarily because it just doesn't work, but you have to change everything about the comp. You have to change everything in order for it to make any kind of sense. and it was broken a while ago. They haven't even. There is one Planesbreaker, famously, which a Russian team got using all Oakensoul heavy attacks, but this was because they were attempting to demonstrate how ridiculously overpowered it was, and it has been nerfed a few times since then.
Also, that was
Specifically
also
for
an
me.
incredibly experienced group that already had several
Yeah, they
Planesbreakers.
like
so-
9 out of 12 of them already had Planesbreakers with regular setups, so it's not like a group of randos who just like to use the set. And no, you can't expect a game with a level of execution and mastery. These are words that Zos likes to use, right? I'm choosing my words very carefully. They like to talk about execution and mastery. That's one of their words. And also a theory crafting. You can't have a game that has all those things in it as part of the recipe for success and then bring out a clicker playstyle which allows you to do all the same things. It just doesn't work. You can't do that. It's like saying to students who are studying for their exams, you can either study for weeks and weeks and weeks, or you can take this magic pill the day before the exam and just get a pass and skip the exam. Again, terrible analogy, but you know what I mean. Like, the people who are designing this system for a group of customers to interact with, otherwise nobody would do anything but run Oakensoul. The mere existence of other builds.
Yeah, but he's saying, well, that is true. So when I join your trial runs, I stay away from Cloudrest or the push trials. I will only
It's
join
not-
for the training, just to not be an annoyance to others.
It's not that it's an annoyance, it's just that it is different. So I've been in runs with people who are running Oakensoul. It's not a problem.
Hmm.
It isn't. It depends though, doesn't it? Like, the Leo group, for example, it's actually quite a chill group. But the Leo group or the Splint group, these are groups within the guild that run. Leo goes twice a week. Splint runs once a week. It's running right now, in fact, or did it? No, it's running right now as we speak, I believe. These would not have Oakensoul players in. I'm almost certain of it, like ever, unless the set changed. But that is because the groups are quite clearly goal oriented. Whereas if you have a teaching run, I don't care. I really don't care. As long as someone can. As long as they're paying attention, they're communicating where it's needed. It's just about, being nice. Otherwise, that's like saying, you can't come to the concert with us because you're wearing the wrong shoes. Like, no. It's got nothing to do with the activity we're going for. If we're going mountaineering and you're wearing the wrong shoes, then I will say, no, you're not coming, because we'll have to...
Ellie, thank you
you'll
so
get
much for the
blisters all
sub.
over. Do you know what I mean? You'll get blisters all over your feet, and we're just going to have to wait for you, what we call a helicopter, to come and airlift you off the side of the mountain. Fuck no. Be prepared for the expedition you're going on. That's kind of what it is. And it's difficult and delicate to actually say. And I'm speaking. If I were typing, this would be 10 times more complicated. And that is part of the problem. The Oakensoul users tend to err on the defensive side, so they make sweeping statements about accessibility and discrimination and stuff, and it's not helpful. And people who are tired of one-bar builds showing up in their runs without asking or without prepping or not having the damage to contribute, frankly, they do the opposite. They come out and say things that are way too harsh, way too simplistic, and we get this weird disconnect. At the end of the day, you just talk to the people you're playing with, and it almost everything.
That's what I was
is gonna
saying.
be
Yeah,
cool.
if everybody's on the same page, then it almost then it doesn't matter. We're like even in our guild, we've done things like 12 class. Everybody coming on the same class and all that trials. Like, that's cool as long as,
Just
But yeah. Well, there's the thing. Necro did get a buff. Is getting a buff. So yeah. Don't despair just yet. And the whole thing is we had like a pre-reveal before Gold Road was announced back in January, and they have said, they have spent 9 years trying to sort of get the game to a point where okay, let's figure out what we can do in this game. Let's change a lot of stuff. They spent 2 years working on hybridization, all that stuff. So now they want to focus on polishing it. So yeah, I think, you know, if they were reworking classes in a big way and bringing scribing, well, that would just be carnage. So yeah, I'm glad that they are focusing on one thing at a time. They want to bring a new awesome system, which is really cool. It doesn't look like it's going to be like a, you know, must play scribing skills, or you're going to be screwed and nobody's going to want to play with you. So it looks like they're adding just depth to the game, depth to the combat, and something that you can have fun with, basically. Yeah. Sometimes people want to do something specific as a group, like, yeah, werewolves, necros, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, other times it's chill, and all a group asks is that you come ready to do your share, clear, learn, yeah, whatever the run is for, exactly. Yeah.
And ultimately, Pauline, this is fun, because you're chill, we're just talking, and we're trying to wrap our mouths and minds around this issue, which is kind of fraught and complicated and delicate. Even though it's just a game, it's funny how it becomes politicized and sensitive. So, wrap my what now? Yeah, well, we're trying to find the right words, you know?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, just muted myself.
Well, just as an intellectual and a social exercise, I quite enjoy that. It seems like Pauline's down as well. But yeah, I think as long as you're talking to people, it's all good.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people playing this game are super chill. The ones who have something to prove can be a bit of a pain in the ass to deal with, but most of the ones who are, you know, we had a lot of this around update 35, the talk of gatekeepers. I'm not seeing as much of that anymore.
Interesting,
but it's
isn't
just
it?
a lie.
Yeah.
It was never true, except with like 1 in a million people who's like, oh, you can't do enough DPS, you can't come. No, generally, it's not about that. It's about this group has this objective, and that doesn't fit with what you're into. And it's just about finding 12 people with the same. Otherwise, someone's going to be wasting their time. Or even worse, someone's going to be wasting everyone else's time. Yeah, as a raid lead, it's your responsibility to avoid that. And it's stressful. And you feel bad, and you lose sleep. Genuinely, if you got people, friends, generally, who are coming together 2 hours out of their week, if they've got jobs, kids, husbands and wives, and all the rest of it, 2 hours, maybe once or twice a week.
Hey, log into PCNA. Let's go. Let's find Mike at least once.
You want me
yeah,
here?
Let's go.
PCNA.
Oakensoul should get buffed for PvE. Well, no, I'm really not. It's still really strong. You know, it's cool to have something like that. That's what sort of Khan's been saying. Like, if people just want to chill, just whatever, unmechanized. Yeah, I'm only on a 1-bar build. I make sure I'm only running, you know, casual trials. Wouldn't dream of getting in a score pushing run. Yeah, it's there is this beautiful, really well designed combat. So something that's a 1 button, if that was more powerful, then, you know, these rotations, this amazing stuff, like, it would just
near as powerful.
It would just kill that amazing combat. That, yeah, some people don't love it. I get that. But a lot of people do. That's like the main reason why they're here. So I'm glad that something like Oakensoul is in the game in a way that, fuck it, people who just don't want to engage with the combat on that level, and that's cool. That's what, you know.
Or if you just want to chill out.
Exactly.
Just want to chill out.
Exactly. Then that's
sit back in your chair, and it's awesome. I'm really glad the Arcanist, easy Arcanist playstyle exists for that. It's chill. Oakensoul is chill. And there's the accessibility thing, which I think we can all agree it's become politicized, and people who have absolutely no disability to speak of keep banging on about it. But those are just the unintelligent ones. There are some genuine cases of people who are like, man, I just cannot, my hands don't do it. They don't do the 2-bar swappy light attack weaving thing. And it just doesn't work for me. But I love the game, I love the world, and I want to be able to hang out with these fun people that I've met, and yada yada yada. And then it suddenly makes sense, doesn't it? But the fact that it's so popular, and was for a while,
what is Oakensoul?
was for a while like the dominant way of
Yeah.
dealing damage in the game. Showed that they messed up the launch because it was a knee-jerk buff, wasn't it?
Yeah,
At the
yeah.
end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've nerfed it slowly, and it's still overpowered, but not in a way that's like causing anyone any problems. I think.
Like I
really.
think it is in a good place right now, and it's stronger than it would be weird. But yeah, Oakensol it's a mythic that it just simplifies combat, and whether it's people that just want to chill or whether they physically can't do that. I thought actually I've heard from a few people that genuinely that have issues, whether it's
NA server.
yes,
right?
like a friend who's got some screws in her wrist or arthritis, all sorts of things that actually Oakensol wasn't great because you still have to do a lot of presses. But Arcanist, because of that long beam, you can it's not as repetitive. So actually it was the Arcanist that solved that issue for them. But whatever it is, if it means that people that can't perhaps engage in the or don't want to, not interested, that's all good. Engaging in the sort of complex combat system, then they can still play, and that's awesome. And take part in group activities and have fun, then yeah, that's all good. I've been playing for 7 years or so, and I still suck at weaving.
But yeah, there are also a lot of myths about how difficult this game is.
More people that feel they can play the game is a win. Yeah, nobody's gonna. Well, I won't argue with that. Some people might, but yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but the phrase "feel they can play the game" is telling, because I know this. There must be 30, 40 people who we've had come to the guild and say, "I can't weave," or "I can't do."
That's why I just started walking around Tamriel for fun. No combat skills required.
And a couple of weeks later, lo and behold, 120k. They just had bad information or no information. They hadn't been told or shown what they needed to be told or shown, and then it sounds super arrogant. You're like,
may I?
Like those self-help books. I can make you thin. I can make you quit smoking. I have made people go from 60k to 120k more times than I can count, and it's not just me. It's anyone who knows the things that I know and has 5 minutes, and who has a Discord where people are funneled towards them to ask that question. And Maya's done the last thing. It's all her. So everyone who's got good advice from the 50 odd geniuses in Ninjaval's Discord that are willing to offer it and are careful not to offer dodgy advice or incomplete advice. It's all down to you, actually, Maya. Let's give you a little bit of cred for that one.
Aw. I was actually going to say just a big thank you to everyone who's in chat watching and being awesome, because so often things can go wrong, especially if somebody's typing and we're on stream just chilling and everybody's just being awesome and having a conversation. Like, I really appreciate that, because I've seen these sort of conversations go horribly wrong in other channels so thank you very much, everyone. That's awesome. And yeah, very grateful for the community. But yes, tourism is a valid gameplay. Yes, and I'm sort of...
well, as we discovered,
exactly,
it's more than valid. It's awesome.
Oh, Lulu, thanks for the hug. That's absolutely perfect. Funnily enough, console has one advantage over PC. Weaving with a controller is really easy. It's the only thing I got done before I stopped playing. That's interesting.
I've heard people say that.
But yeah, I've had the best time on Saturday. We spent exploring 13 zones for 13 hours. I mean, 2 of those hours were actually in Cloudrest, so 11. But still, it was so fun. We literally just rode through from Windhelm, so here, all the way down on BTS, so Westweald, up to Solitude, exploring the pubs, doing quizzes and all sorts. We were also having IRL drinks, so sort of the second half, the third. There was a little bit of, hang on, did we do that quiz? Did we do the results?
Not gonna lie, I was fucking hammered.
I mean, there is...
Actually, no, that is a lie. I wasn't hammered, but I was I was feeling it. You know, I was like Legolas.
There is a
look
clip
at my
with me
fingers.
singing on it, so I must have been
I think
drunk.
it's affecting me. No, but when I went to my trial group, I was definitely feeling it. I was like, wow, I really need to concentrate to not die to something stupid. I don't think I did die to anything stupid, but it was probably good luck more than anything else.
I think I did promise that I was going to make you guys do some singing at some point, since we are raising money for the Alzheimer's Association all a month of May, and it looks like it might even spill into June with the ESO community. It's Wes Johnson, as in Emmaus Mora. His Voiceapalooza, lots of voice actors, tons of streamers around the world. Emmaus Mora. I should stop. Yeah. So, raising money and all that, but I think I may have sort of suggested that I'll make you guys do some singing, but then Eggbirds and Khan, well, Eggbirds is a professional musician, Khan is a musician, so it should be okay, right? Yeah, I know, we missed the drink, that was my, I don't know, well, because I was designing the menu, grabbing the zones we were going through, thinking, well, there's a pub here, and I sort of forgot that one of them there was no pub. But I still label it as that zone, so there was this rogue drink, and we thought, well, we have to catch up, right? Yeah, that wasn't the best decision we made that day, but hey, it was fun. But yeah, we're gonna find Mike. Let's do it. Khan, are you on?
I'm looking for him. Yeah, I'm looking for him in the rift. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put on nameplates because it makes them easy to spot.
Oh, they can definitely do it. Well, top secret. The three of us are working on recording some fun stuff. Not singing, not with me. So, you know, both of them, I know they can record and all of that. So, let's see whether maybe we can set a fundraising goal, right? And then that there is an incentive. But anyway, so Mike Delia, he is voiced by Keith Silverstein, American voice actor known for lending his voice to English versions of Japanese anime and video games. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's interesting because of the whole gravelly thing.
Yeah, and he's done JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Hisoka, what's this, in Monster, just ton of stuff. Really prolific voice actor. I mean, as they all are, and really wonderful. What the fuck is that noise?
Right. So he was in JoJo, basically. Yep. So loads of people will know who he is.
Yep.
Can you give us the names of any characters, or do you not have that in front of you?
I do. Hang on, let me just open this up. You know what? Let's just open up the wonderful Wikipedia.
Who saw JoJo? Come on.
No.
I know so many people who love that shit. Hey, I've got him. Come to me.
Ah, fuck. Well, this is the dude. Look at that anime. Look at this. Look at this. Still going. And movies. Still going. Final Fantasy. Jesus, what hasn't he done? Wow, that's... When I said prolific actor, like, wow, right? Alright, I'm porting to Khan.
I think it's true of so many voice actors because we associate their CVs or their resumes, should I say, with those of movie and TV actors. But let's face it, they earn less for a typical job, and the job takes far less time to do. So the number of credits they accrue in a given year is, you know, if they're really jobbing, is probably going to be a lot higher, you know?
Yeah, Wes Johnson, I think it's PC Gamer that describes him as Bethesda's most prolific voice actor, which I thought was a brilliant descriptor. He's been voicing Bethesda games since Morrowind. And I think...
wasn't he Malakath and a couple of other Daedra?
Well, we were just
princes.
doing that. So for the Voiceapalooza, we had like the launch party of that event on Sunday, so hanging out with Wes Johnson on voice in Discord, which is just amazing. He's such a lovely guy and just a wonderful person. But yeah, I think we sort of no, I might lost
go
again.
To the other way, Shrine. Yeah, where are you
I
going?
don't know, that's the one that I don't know.
Just report to me.
I did. That's where it spat me out. But yeah, we figured out he's probably done the most Daedric Princess in the franchise. Elder Scrolls franchise. And we were sort of compiling the list, and yeah. He the man. Molag Bal in Morrowind.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just a terrific
Yeah.
voice actor generally. You know, a bit like
Yeah, listening to him is just like, yes. Just keep talking. It's beautiful.
and when you see him in a movie or a TV show, it's weird how much it recedes into the background. It's a bit like John Candy. Like, you know, everyone knows what John Candy looks like. Look him up if you don't know him by name. But because, you know, the guy has like a certain look about him, you don't realize how awesome his voice is until you were to hear it in isolation.
Okay, I'm going to talk to Mai, so shush. So this is the voice actor number 6 for Voiceapalooza today, Mr. Keith Silverstein.
Mike could never fight for prizes. He has a weak chin.
Will you give me something else?
It is so cold
Yeah.
here. Yet Mike sees Nords in sandals. Madness.
Oh, that's my mum always used to say that to me when I moved to the UK. She's like, why are you wearing sandals? It's cold.
I love it.
Have you seen dragons? No? Mike thinks they must be hiding for
Dragon?
now. Come back later. We can talk some more.
So now there's the fuck off. Okay. Are we done?
Come
Yes.
back later.
All right.
And we can find him in another zone if you want. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Really cool voiceover. Hey, Kazi. I'll be right back. Can't say amusing things.
Amusing things. I think I'm in trouble for saying that. I really hope Maya didn't have this bit planned for another day of Voiceapalooza. But I kind of want to talk about this for a couple of reasons. Wes Johnson is in The Wire, right? You guys know this? And The Wire is an old show. It's like 20 years old almost now. But it's still one of the best things I've ever seen on TV. I was a little bit late to the party, so I didn't watch it on TV. You know, I like bought it on iTunes or whatever and watched it that way. But it is a seriously great procedural, like realism, police procedural show. Makes it sound incredibly boring. Set in Baltimore around the policing of drugs. And the first season is about the cops, the detectives, figuring out an innovative way to catch one of the big like drug kingpins in the city using a wire. About tapping phones and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it might be in season 2 or 3. I don't think it's in the first one, but Wes Johnson is in
Why
there.
am I on my ass?
Because a mini Dolmen thing just spawned a dark fish or whatever it's called. And we rewatched The Wire a couple of times, and so the third viewing of it was like last year. And I had no idea what Wes Johnson looked like the first time I watched it. I'd heard him say, "Stop! You violated the law!" like 100 times. I had no idea what the guy looked like. And second time, neither. But the third time we were watching this, we were like, hang on a minute. Because you hear the voice and you see the guy's face. He doesn't have the beard. He's, yeah, I mean, Maya can share the clip, but do you have this... You don't have this, like, saved up for later in Voiceapalooza, do you?
I don't want to get any... Well, yeah. But also, because of that hang we had yesterday, I've got some incredible clips saved up that scoured the internet. There's a video called "The William Shatner School of Acting," by Wes Johnson, and holy fuck, yeah, seriously, that's all coming.
Can we watch that now or no?
All right, fuck it, let's go. But I mean,
Anyway, yeah, if there was anything that could make me love The Wire even more, trust me, if you haven't seen it, I cannot imagine anyone, unless they were just stupid, being disappointed with this show. That is a terrible thing to say, but oh my god, it's so deep and goes places that no other show does. Yeah, it was great, and the acting in it is fantastic. It's got Dom West, and yeah, it's got so many great actors in it. Lance Reddick, it was like the thing that made him famous. You know, he more recently did the John Wick movies and had a really big character in the Destiny games.
yeah.
So good.
So, do you want to watch it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I hope it's okay. All right. Oh, it's muted. So-
Hello, and
Well, unmute it.
welcome to the William Shatner School of Acting, where we'll perform where no one has performed before. Any questions? Yes, my good friend.
What kinds of scenes will we be doing in class?
Oh, yeah. What are we going to learn today?
Don't you challenge my authority, mister. You'll lose. Got it?
Yeah.
Intimidated, weren't you? You see, that's what you'll be learning here at the William Shatner School of Acting. We'll teach you how to intimidate and overpower audiences, directors, fellow cast members, and copy girls. We'll teach you the subtle nuances of pain, angst, and the proper usage of a bad to pain.
But I'm not bald.
You will be, mister.
But what of Stanislavski? What of Strasberg? They didn't teach baldness as an acting technique. This is ridiculous.
This is mutiny, mister.
I'm not a mister.
Yes, I know. Have I not eyes in which to read between the lines? Have I not a heart in which to wear upon my sleeve? Have I not lips in which to rub across your face?
I don't even like it's just. But this was apparently tweeted at Jesus Shatner, who did not.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me!
Yes. Romance, Dick. Romance is vital to any leading man. You'll learn.
Cool.
In time. Now, let's really feel the drama, shall we? Repeat after me. You Klingon bastard. You've killed my son.
You Klingon bastard.
You've killed my son. You Klingon bastard. You've killed my son. Louder. You Klingon
He's actually
bastard.
sounds
You've killed my
like
son.
uncanny.
Everyone,
Like,
you
yeah,
Klingon
amazing.
bastard. You've killed my son. Feel the power. You Klingon bastard. You've killed my son. Again. You Klingon bastard.
The William Shatner School of Acting, presented by the Celebrity Learning Annex, is brought to you by SK Hams, bringing you the best in stage, screen, and sandwich meats.
Anyway, so yeah, that's it. There we go. Guys got a preview.
What the fuck did we just watch? That was a hell of a Bill Shatner impression, though.
I know, right? It's amazing.
I
That
love how
was
it's
weird,
sponsored
or
by
I have no humor. It was just yeah. I mean, yeah, it was weird.
I mean, Kazi, how much
much-
Star
yeah.
Trek, old Star Trek, have you seen?
Hey, what in the world
Is it-
did
if
I
you
come
haven't-
into?
Yeah, exactly. That was the weirdest shit. But you know, if you've seen or haven't much affection for like
None.
old
Well, there you
school
go. Yeah, then it's
Trek,
not.
well, there we
yeah.
go. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, if you haven't watched Star Trek, if you don't know who, well, not William Shatner is, but Captain Kirk, like, then it. Funny though, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's you. It won't mean anything unless you've watched it. You're a fan, but yeah.
Just trust me that impression was absolutely unbelievably
Dude did
good. It's
sound
one
like,
of the best ones I've ever seen.
A lot like Captain Kirk, right? That is Wes Johnson. So, Dog, if you are Kirk, yeah, absolutely.
That's the Mayas Mora guy, like
Mayas
and Shea
Mora. That's the same dude. Like, it's he's good.
He's good. Who knew?
He's amazing. Yeah.
He's amazing at that. Yeah, that's incredible. But yeah, Voice of Palooza is all his doing, you know. I think most of you do know. That's why we keep coming back to Wes and the stuff he's done on not just this game, but the Elder Scrolls franchise in general. And Bethesda
For the
games
last
in
like
general.
over 20 years. So yeah.
Yeah, so he literally was the stop, you violated the law in the guy in Oblivion, and he was Lucian LeChance in Oblivion as well.
Hey, thank you,
I think
Lulu,
that's
so much for the
where-
donation. I really appreciate it. I don't know why we didn't get a big fanfare on the stream.
I think we did. I thought I heard something.
Aww. There we go. All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Wes appreciates it, and Hermaeus Mora also appreciates it.
Why does he always sound a bit sad when you?
Were they?
He sounds like an elderly elephant who's sad about the state of the world.
But isn't he? No.
No, I mean your impression
Yeah, but
of.
isn't he sort of sad? Like often?
I suppose
Yeah.
the more knowledge you have, the more depressed you become. Is that?
That tracks, right?
Yeah, it kind of does. Ignorance is bliss. Anyway,
Thanks, Egberts.
yeah. So Lucien LeChance, you guys remember that? The guy who inducts you into the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion and has that amazing. But I can't remember any of his lines.
Oh, sorry.
Our little family.
Something like that. He probably says something along those lines, but just 10 times more beautifully. I think that's the first time when people like looked him up. You know, players like
Looked
me,
him
like,
up?
hang on,
What?
yeah, who's responsible for that? 'Cause
It's that you sleep rather soundly for a murderer. I mean, that's what Egberts is.
but
That's-
but that line is he delivers fairly normally. I think
suppose.
because the
I love this. Unbeknown to my
game-
hard biker buddies, I was a decent Trekkie when I was younger. Hey, Bobo. Hey. Yeah.
I'm not like a proper Trekkie. I feel like I haven't been into it for that long.
I think if it's
well,
10 years
like it as a
or
kid.
more, then you're a Trekkie kind of thing.
But I still have like not finished watching the old 90s Trek, trying to work my way through it. But I do have great appreciation for some of the stuff it did. And also for the record, Bill Shatner, not a shit actor or anything like that. People make fun of him all the time. But
Curry.
It's because his acting is so weird a lot of the time. But you know, you watch
Yeah, it can be a bit.
some of the
huh?
movies and and he does some incredible stuff. It's like you couldn't find another actor in Hollywood that can do that, that can sell that moment. But yeah, he also does the whole look out, he's got a ray gun. That whole thing.
Yeah.
My crew. What's the Kevin Pollak thing? Captain's Law. Stardate 4, 3, 2, 76.5.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our sounds, like, but I can hear myself through Khan's and he's coming through mine. We keep resetting it, but my Razer Synapse just keeps having a brain aneurysm literally every single day. I have to like reset
Oh,
it
is
again.
mine picking you up?
I can hear
I haven't been
myself
seeing-
sometimes, but yeah.
I'm sorry about that. That's my fault. But whatever. Yeah. But those are like corny impressions of weird acting choices, or I don't know. But yeah, what we just saw was much more nuanced. That's really difficult to pull off. That's a lot of fun. When do you know when that video was from, Maya? A long time ago.
Let me double check.
And then we should probably go back to talking about Keith Silverstein. It was actually the subject of
13
today's
years ago.
2011, huh? Okay.
It's not actually that old, but yeah.
So the year Skyrim came out.
Oh, that's crazy to think about that, actually.
It's also the year like Hugo came out, that movie, you know?
Well,
I think Your Highness may have been around that time as well. Maybe the year before, can't remember.
oh wow, is that old? Crikey.
Yeah. I think the final Harry Potter movie came out that year as well. Well, I said the final.
Mhm.
Of course, we weren't that lucky. They kept making them, but I suppose it's the final
Countdown. What? No.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, we've got really good mics, really good. It's just the software's been fucking up a lot lately. We've got like really good equipment. It's just
Well, you have. Mine's decent. Yours is very good.
but a
But
dynamic
we're also quite
mic, yeah.
close together. Yeah. We're not that far apart in the room. And yeah, Maya's Razer Synapse software keeps saying, "Oh, there is a conflict between your local settings and the cloud settings," and then whichever one you click, it just resets. So all the mic settings are back the way they were, and Windows and Discord love to also sneakily change something in the background.
Yeah, it's been really weird since I did that huge the big stream when you were in Amsterdam, and shit just broke. Like it just suddenly like everything crashed, and every single sound setting in every single sound setting in every program was sort of broken. Like in Windows, Discord, everything just got reset. It was really weird, and it's just been weird ever since, basically.
Why is the cat approaching me? What's going on?
He wants to smash another glass, obviously. He just wants to make a statement.
This one does not. No, don't remind me. Seriously, Maya, look at him.
Lost connection on the train. Updated patch notes. I mean, they are on the forums. But sure, I can share a link.
But if you want a... Alright, I thought they were asking for a super brief summary. Not a huge amount changed. Scribing has become a little more forgiving on the grinding side. Especially class scripts, which you now only have to earn once account-wide. And then you have all class scripts, class mastery scripts, I should say. I still think that's weird. But I'm just imagining it was a headache to tweak that implementation.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah, I've got a soundboard and everything, so I have to run software to make, for streaming. So it's if it was just a, straight up people need to hear my voice when I'm in trials, then things would be a lot simpler.
Yeah, it's not a janky setup. Far from it. It's
Nope.
actually really, really good. It just, the settings keep changing without any user directed change, That's the problem, effectively. And even when they don't change, you just sit down, conditions will be the same, but suddenly I'll be coming through, and Maya has to,
Yeah, we
tweak
literally just
the
tested it
setting.
with like Khan sitting pretty much like next to the mic, just the other side, and like making noises. It wasn't coming through. Then I start streaming. Oh, it's coming through.
Anyway, so did you have more on
No.
Mike the Liar?
No, we looked at his his career. The list is extensive. That's kind of incredible. But yeah, as you say, it's very different to movies, isn't it? The time commitment, certainly. Yeah. Why is chat? He's still a liar. Yeah, I'll allow that. Yeah. But yeah, what is it that you guys want to know about scribing? So we've got a list of things that we want to make like videos about. But like if there's something, actually this kind of video would really, apparently Liar is blocked. Yeah. That you think actually this would be really helpful. Never even found out when you do the scribing at. Well, it's the Mages Guild. So obviously on PTS you can create a template which already has the scribing maxed out. And then you just port to Ivea, done. But yeah, otherwise you have to do the quests and everything from scratch. But yeah, I sort of have that. That's one of the things on the list. How to get going. How to get that quest done.
Yeah. I did have some trivia about Mike the Liar,
Go.
if anyone's interested. So, does anyone know which was the first game that he appeared in?
Yeah, thank you,
'Cause
Lulu.
technically, I think it's a different character each time, but a character with the name Mike the Liar is a recurring thing. Anyone know when his first appearance was in the series?
Was it Oblivion?
Don't look it up.
I'm not looking it up. Was it Oblivion?
I know you won't. Wait. It was actually Morrowind.
Was it? Yeah, well,
Yeah, I remember bumping
Letan
in-
just got it, yeah.
Nice. I
Yeah.
remember bumping into him like on the coast, the Sea of Ghosts, up at the top. Not a million miles away from where you get that mud crab merchant that had the most gold of any merchant game. It didn't speak to you, it was just a mud crab that you could sell things to.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's it.
So weird. So weird. Anyway, I remember thinking that's gotta be a reference to somebody called Mike, like a friend of one of the devs or something. Apparently it was one of the devs, Mike Lipari, one of the programmers. His handle, and I didn't know this until fairly recently, or whenever I looked it up. His forum handle was Blatant Liar. So Mike the Liar.
Oh, that's fun. Mike Little, let's go, yeah.
And it's cropped up in every game since then.
That's really cool. I like that.
I think he was in Oblivion quite a lot, but he was roaming around in Oblivion, wasn't he? I seem to remember running into him just completely at random.
What's this game? This is Elder Scrolls Online. That's what this is. Oh, animals are being weird. I think the little teeny tiny 17-year-old cat just chased the dog out of the basket, a big dog. And now it's hiding in a tower, the cat. Such silly sausages. Yeah, so just how to, a little startup, how to get going. Cool. Isn't it pronounced Mike though? Yeah. Mike.
Yeah, but it's Mike.
But yeah, Mike.
It's an obvious synonym for that.
But it's a fun little story. I really do like that. It just makes it a bit more, I don't know, special when it just is, you know.
It's
based
really
in-
odd.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, half of the 9 divines and Daedric princes are named after playtesters and other people.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. Ah. I think I managed to make the new house bug. What? How? What did you do? What did you do?
There's also a note in the public dungeon in Stonefalls, you know, the one where you go to like a part of Nocturnal's realm or whatever it is, and there are all those crows asking you to do favors for them. With the Black Feather Court, is that what they're called? I can't remember, I'm sorry. And there's a note where they are all sort of congregating, and it is a little note from Maik to his son Maik. Leaves him a little flute.
Hey, is it actually your birthday today, Kazi? Oh my god, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm old as a wizard now. What does that mean? 9? Is that what? No? Never mind.
999.
Not what I meant. But yeah, happy birthday. Is that like as in it's approaching midnight for you, so in like 10 minutes it's your birthday, or like it's been your birthday all day? Well, either way. I just meant 9 like Harry Potter, isn't that when he turns 9? You're a wizard, Harry, or whatever bollocks he says.
All right.
Sorry.
I didn't make that connection.
Oh, it's been, well, I hope you've had a really lovely day, and thank you for hanging out with us as well. That's awesome.
You're a wizard, Harry. I'm a what? Well, you're not an actor, that's for fucking sure.
Don't eat and don't jump in the pool. Nice one, Lulu. Oh, Harry Potter's 11. Sorry. Herzlichen Schlüpftag. What? But yes, happy birthday.
I'm actually on my way to the Black Feather Court right now to see if I can verify the nonsense I was just talking.
Oh my god, that was so precious. Oh, sweetheart, you tried. That's so sweet.
What's that?
I'm guessing that's my pronunciation.
You gotta try.
I did try.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. It sounded very cute. All right.
Here we go. Inscribed flute. This flute has an inscription on its side, a gift from Maik to his son, Maik.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that. Like, that's what? Yeah.
Fuck knows what it's doing here.
Yeah. Yeah, I sort of go through stages. I'm not all my characters are in the same place, and sometimes I have like characters spread out in like 5-6 different zones. Then I consolidate them and then I start again. It's weird. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Isn't it a Gremlin reference? You know, don't feed them after midnight and, you know, don't get water on them. And in the movie, they all, you know, there's a whole pool scene. And it's not a fun pool scene.
Pool scene.
I love how Lulu just said, you really need to start watching classics. Yeah. Well, when you hear pool scene, you think, oh, that sounds fun. But it's not that kind of fun. Why do you do it's in Mournhold? I don't know. I don't know.
Isn't Mournhold like the second most popular place?
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I think the logic sort of is because everything else is here, horse and everything, and pledges. But I don't really pick those up regularly, so it's more of a habit than anything else. Vardenfell is definitely a good one. Blackwood, yeah, I sometimes have them there as well. Gremlins is a good one. Yeah. Do you mean
Top
there are
film.
more classics than The Big Lebowski? Yeah. Rimmen. I usually have at least one character there, but it's been a while since I have. But yeah, it's a really fun one. Yeah, classic movies, huh? We need to do another movie night soon. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm down.
Oh, you watched Johnny Brasco last week. Nice one. What do you think?
I don't know how the fuck you knew that was a fugazi. And don't tell me the impression is shit. I know it is. I just did it for fun.
Night, night, Lulu.
That's quite a good film. Sad.
No, can't. The impression was. No, I'm kidding. Good night. Wow. It's pretty fun.
I'll tell you what, it is like my impressions are B- at best, usually like a D-. But when you have headphones on that are like noise cancelling, the ones that I'm wearing really
Night, night, Eggbirds.
cut out everything. It makes the kind of thing even more difficult to do with any level of precision.
Yeah, Blackwood is really compact for rates. That's so true. Again, I used to have like half my characters there. I don't know why I've moved. I don't really know. I just go with the flow. I end up in different cities, and you know, you have a good Saturday night out, and then you end up in a completely different city. You don't know how you got there, but you stay because it's fun.
Yeah, you wake up in Rimmen clutching a traffic cone.
You don't question it. You just stay in Rimmen and have fun. Whoa, that's an intense looking character. That's awesome. Oh, this dude is pretty scary as well. Night, night. Oh, my sound is off. Damn it. What's the movie called with the big rabbit? Just
Donnie Darko?
Jessica Rabbit? Or Donnie Darko?
I've never seen
yeah.
that. Never seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Seen Donnie Darko though a few times. That's
a big bunny. Donnie Darko, yeah.
I think that holds up actually. I think that was a pretty good movie. But I do think Jake Gyllenhaal and Maggie Gyllenhaal and Jenna Malone are all like kind of awesome.
They are, yeah.
Kind of a sucker. And the dad who the dad who plays the actor, the actor who plays the dad, I can't even remember his name, but he's always terrific. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
And it's got Drew Barrymore in it. I mean, holy shit.
The list just goes on, right?
Yeah, the lineup is just hard to argue with.
Yeah. Well, all right, ho. Well, we did the patch notes. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you haven't followed, please make sure to do so. We are just 9 followers away from 2,400. And if you are thinking, maybe I should donate, I'll do it later. Well, here's the link again. Do it now. But anyway, I appreciate your company, guys. And we'll be back tomorrow with our daily streams. And some fun dungeons and whatnot. So, let's see who else is streaming ESO.
Yeah, have a fantastic evening, everybody, and hope to see you again soon. Maya's put a ton of work into Voicepalooza, so please don't go anywhere. And don't let my terrible little segues when she goes AFK put you off. That would make me sad.
Oh, well, let's go and say hi to Mav, playing Hades 2. Day 1. Oh my god, fun. Mav is awesome. Give her a big ninja pulls. Hello! And yeah, have an amazing evening, guys, and hopefully see you tomorrow.